When we think of leadership, we usually picture someone in charge, someone with all the power hitting all the big targets. But what if that's not it at all? What if the most important job of a leader is actually to make people feel safe? That's the core idea in Simon Sinek's book, Leaders Eat Last. And trust me, it's a simple idea that changes absolutely everything.
This one sentence, this is the key to the whole thing. It's why some teams are willing to go to the ends of the earth for each other, and it's the exact feeling that's missing from so many of our jobs today. So we're going to dig into what this really means and how it actually works.
To really get this, I want to tell you a story. It's about an Air Force pilot, call sign Johnny Bravo, and a choice he made one night over Afghanistan that just perfectly captures what true leadership is all about.
So I want you to picture this. It's a beautiful, totally clear night. Johnny Bravo is flying his plane thousands of feet up, totally safe in his cockpit. The moon is so bright it makes the clouds below him look like a field of fresh snow. Just peaceful.
But way down on the ground, in a dark and dangerous valley, it is a completely different story. There's a team of 22 soldiers deep in enemy territory. And then, the silence of the night is just shattered by 3 words that come crackling over the radio.
Troops in contact. For any pilot, those are the words you pray you never have to hear for real. It means the guys on the ground are in a firefight. They are fighting for their lives.
And here's the thing. Nobody ordered him to do what he did next. Johnny Bravo made a choice. He pulled his plane into a terrifyingly dangerous dive, punching through thick clouds into a valley that was so lit up with enemy fire, he said it looked like daytime. He flew right into the line of fire for men he'd never even met.
So you have to ask, why? What makes somebody do that? It wasn't for a bonus check, right? It wasn't to get a promotion. All the things we think of as motivation in the corporate world, they mean absolutely nothing in a moment like that.
And this brings us right back to that quote from the beginning. When you ask people like Johnny Bravo why they risk it all, the answer is always the same. It's this deep, profound belief that the people you're protecting would do the exact same thing for you. It's a bond. It's trust.
Now, what's so wild is how this idea, which is crystal clear on a battlefield, just seems to vanish the second we walk into an office. Why is it that most of us don't feel that same level of trust at work?
Well, the numbers tell a pretty grim story. A Deloitte Shift Index found that a mind-boggling 80% of people are unhappy with their jobs. That's not just a few people having a bad week. That's a sign that our workplaces are fundamentally broken and out of sync with our basic human needs.
So, Sinek's big idea for how to fix this is what he calls the circle of safety. The concept is super simple. A leader's job is to draw a circle around their people. Inside that circle, we're all safe from each other. The dangers are all on the outside, the competition, the economy, you name it.
And here's why that's a game changer. When we feel safe with our team, we stop wasting energy on office politics and watching our own backs. All that brainpower, all that creativity can be pointed outward to solve problems and beat the competition. That's the magic of the circle of safety.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. This whole idea isn't just a nice theory. It's hardwired into our biology. Our feelings of trust, happiness, and drive are all just chemicals in our brain. So let's break down how they work.
So our brains are basically running on a chemical cocktail. Sinek breaks them down into 2 groups. First, you have the selfish chemicals, endorphins and dopamine. They're all about me and my achievements. Then you have these selfless chemicals, serotonin and oxytocin, which are all about us and our social bonds. Healthy organizations need both, but, well, most modern workplaces are way out of balance.
Let's talk about dopamine. That's the chemical you get when you cross something off your to-do list or hit a sales target. It feels great, right? But it's a short-term hit, and it's incredibly addictive. When a company's culture is all about hitting quarterly numbers, you end up with a building full of dopamine junkies, always chasing the next fix instead of building something that lasts.
Now, oxytocin is the opposite. That's the chemical of trust and friendship. It's that warm feeling you get when a teammate helps you out, not because they have to, but just because they care. You can't put oxytocin on a performance review, but it's the chemical that builds real, loyal teams. It's basically the glue that holds the circle of safety together.
And then there's the villain of our story, cortisol. This is our internal alarm system. It's that pit in your stomach feeling of stress and anxiety when you feel threatened. In workplaces where there's no circle of safety, where layoffs are a constant threat and you're competing against your own teammates, our bodies are just flooded with this stuff. And it literally shuts down our ability to trust and cooperate.
Okay, so the biology is pretty compelling, but let's be real, the big question is, does this people-first stuff actually pay off? Does it make a company more successful? Let's look at a real-world showdown between two legendary CEOs.
So here we have a perfect contrast. On one side, Jack Welch at GE, who was famous for his laser focus on shareholder value, which often meant routine layoffs and fierce internal competition. And on the other side, James Sinek at Costco, whose philosophy was to take care of his employees first, paying them well and making job security a top priority.
And the results? Well, they speak for themselves. This graph shows that over the long haul, Costco's people-first culture created way more value and stability. This is the proof that building a circle of safety isn't some fluffy, nice-to-have idea. It is a massive competitive advantage. This quote from the book just nails it. When your employees feel safe and valued, they naturally extend that feeling of safety to your customers. That's how you build a brand that people are fiercely loyal to. It starts from the inside out.
All right, so we've gone from the battlefield to the boardroom to our own brain chemistry. But what does all of this actually mean for you, right now in your own work life?
Here's the most important takeaway. Leadership has nothing to do with your job title. It's a choice you make every single day. It's the choice to look out for the person next to you. Every time you offer to help someone or share credit or just truly listen to what they're saying, you are acting like a leader. You're making the circle of safety a little bit stronger.
And that really just leaves us with this final, powerful idea. This is a call to action. It's not about waiting for the perfect boss. It's about taking responsibility ourselves. We all have the power to create safety and trust for the people around us. The only question is, will we choose to?